Hello. I'm gonna tell you something about my experience back in my country in the 1980s, about the Civil War, about what happened, why they killed the preacher. I think if I remember correctly, his name was Oscar Anulfo Romero. He was a priest, and he got killed because he would tell the truth on the radio. He was the man who helped the poor and the people. He would denounce the government. He didn't care who he was, where he was. He would just get on the radio and tell everybody what the elements from the government did to innocent people. And what they used to do was they would go to a house, break in the house, break doors, beat up people, and they were interested in getting young people, 16, 17-year-old. I was around that age back then. And that was the main reason why they killed Monsignor Romero. There was a group that was formed by the government called the Death Squad, and the head of the Death Squad name was Roberto Dawinson. He was one of the head guys in the government branch. When he got killed, they were having the viewing of the preacher at the cathedral in San Salvador. In front of the cathedral, there's a park named Park of Liberty. So we were hanging around because we wanted to go see Monsignor Romero when he was lying at the cathedral. But before we got there, a shooting began. Started shooting people right, left and right at the cathedral. So all we had to do was take off running, and with no direction. We know where we live, but we were just trying to get away. I remember going by a gas station, and we passed it like probably maybe 300 yards when it blew up. And we couldn't be running on the streets because government forces were all over. They see you a civilian that you were now in uniform, they will shoot at you, kill you. So we jumped the fence at the National University, and we ran right through it, trying to get back home. And eventually we did. We were so lucky that we survived that day. To 79 is what? That would be 80, that would be 17 years old when this whole thing began. Okay? I was going to work to this place with my brother, and then people started to reunite together and started complaining and stuff, and they had some name. It was called BPR. It stands for Black Revolutionary People, and they started, recruiting people, getting it together. By the 1980s, it began like with no weapons, but the 1980s started getting weapons, start fighting against the troops, okay, against the government forces. And then it kept going on like that, and they kept on recruiting people until like a year later, there were other organizations coming up, okay? And then we learned about that. That's not what I wanted to do. So I got out, stay out for a while, and then I decided to travel.
All right. And did you agree with the citizens, or did you agree with the government's terms? What did the people want, and what did the government want?
Well, I kind of agree with the people because back on those days, it was just a few people, and mainly military people and rich people. They own the whole country. So a lot of people were working for long hours for a little bit of money without affording to buy a house, to buy food. So they stay under that situation for a long time until they decided to protest and rise up against the government. And this was the first time that I remember on my life that this happened in El Salvador. And it started in 1977, okay, when people start forming together and fighting against the government. I remember I was about 14 years old, and it went on. A lot of people died, and military people and just civilian citizens. And the cost of it was because they wanted the government to treat them better, paying more money so they can afford a land, a house where they can live. Because back then, a lot of people just, build their houses along the roads, cardboard houses made out of cardboard and aluminum, and it was bad. It was bad, and it's hard to say, but I went to the military, but I really was with the people, okay. And back on those days, you either go to the military or you go to the terrorists, they call them. But to me, they were not terrorists. They were just Salvadorian citizens who did not agree with the government the way they were living.